Good evening, good night from the UK. Today we'll be playing the Temple of Elemental Evil. This is the first chapter, which is the Prelude. Before I get any further, guys, is there any channels you want to plug? Ignacio, I know you want to plug your one in, so feel free to do that.
Yep. Hi, folks. I'm Ignacio. You might know me from running or playing adventures with the MYFAROG group, and I do have a channel called Get Real Role Playing. It's a very new channel, and I mostly have live plays and a couple of MYFAROG FAQs and tutorials and things like that. If you like this sort of stuff, go ahead and check it out.
Excellent. And for Carlos, do you have anything to plug?
Well, I'm just going to plug the MYFAROG gaming group and Tabletop OSG. I'm assuming if people are watching this, maybe they've already heard of it, but if you haven't, go check out Tabletop OSG Facebook group and MYFAROG group and start playing some MYFAROG with us.
Awesome. So took the words right out of my mouth, but the links will be in the description. So for everyone who wants to visit those those groups, they can do so. Okay, so gents, we will get right into it. So it is the first of, well, excuse my pronunciation, Velasquelbigio, which is basically New Year's. And you guys have basically been gathered by the Meadowstead's elder. His name is Nemedius. And just a little backstory of him. He's been teaching children the ways of the Thulian life and the traditions, that has predecessed way before he, even his own age, to the point where they are finally becoming of age, and for the younger generations to uphold the traditions of the native Thulians. Now, of course, with the nature of some of your characters, some of you have traveled afar, and some of you may not have traveled that far. But this is the most, one of the most important times of your life right now, and some of you, are just itching to kind of, get to the next level, so to speak. No pun intended there either. Nonetheless, every single one of you are excited to see what's about to happen. Each of you have different signs of coming of age, whether it be just, you're getting small hairs on your chin, or, your voice is starting to go a little bit. There's a few quirks with you guys. But you guys have been cherry-picked to lead your family's honor into the next generation and future. So you guys are literally in the outside, in just the main town area, really, with Nemedius. And he kind of welcomes you all. Welcome, my not-so-young children. I see familiar faces and some I've never seen before. But I thank the gods that we have been able to get to this stage. Ah, I see. So Nemedius looks towards Carlos's character. You seem not of this, well, I would say race, is that? And same with you, Nemed. And he looks at Ignacio's character as well. We've got some very interesting characters here. I think I'm losing the plot here, but of course that just explains my venerable age. So, and without further ado, guys, if you can introduce your characters, please. So, from my left, we'll go Carlos first.
Aslak looks over, says, "Hello, yes. I'm Thulean through and through. I hail from Tawia. And this is my friend here. We met up, we seem to have things in common. We're adventuring the same route, and we ended up together telling stories and having each other's defense. It has brought us here." And so you'll see Aslak he's pretty tall. He's about 6'3", and he wears all black cloak. And so before he started speaking, he has a cloak that covers bottom half of his face. He pulled that down, and he pulled his hood back a bit, but not all the way, to talk. So this is a guy that you really don't see that much skin on him. He's pretty much covered in black cloak. And the little bit of his face you see, though, for his young age, his young age of 23, you're a little surprised at how battle worn he looks. A little bit. The texture of his skin looks a little bit older than what he really is. And he looks over and gives a nod.
Ah, I see. So it probably was just me completely getting past the veil that you have there. But alas, thank you very much for coming. It's nice to very much to meet you. But this commission, I see, he is your friend, I see, right? Speak up, child.
Yes, yes, of course. My good man, leader of this tribe, worthy of deference, respect, and all manner of good treatment. And I make a small bow in a gesture that might seem a little strange to him. Now, I met Ozlak here in Tawia, which was the first land that I saw of Thule. Beautiful, lush, green, mountainous, astounding. Not anything like Kem across the burning sea. A plain, sandy, dusty, hot and sweltering land. Now here in Thule, I've had to get used to the cold. I've worn wool clothing for perhaps the first time in my life. And yes, this man here, Ozlak, he has gained my trust, and we have shaken hands many times and shaken many other people's hands. Well, what I look forward to here in Thule is the exchange of information, the exchange of things in fair trades, and the exchange of meals and drinks, and smiles and merriment. There is a lot to be gained and learned, and I look forward to the next step.
Demir, I take it your name is that correct?
Yes, my name is Demir.
I sensed that. Well, that is very honorable for someone who is not very of the Thulian race, but alas, you are still, I see you all as my children, and children I shall treat you as. So I know some of you may have been wondering why some of you are not with your friends, but I can see here, we have some ties already. But alas, the rest of your friends may have not succeeded in the training that's been given to them. For who knows, I may not know, but for all I can understand is with the terrible things that have been happening with the sudden outbreaks of RBs, 18s, and various other creatures, maybe some commissions as well. But of course, our Fela commission here is quite a different one. But alas, I think that
I am but a humble merchant.
Alas, I can see from the outfit, the way you speak, you are quite the honorable one. I can sense very much a great presence within you and within my children.
If I may.
Disciples. Yes.
And you see, Demir is about 6 foot, about 160 pounds. He's wearing loose-fitting, dull red clothes, betraying his social position as a free man. Of course, not being of Thule, he cannot be a noble.
Yep.
He's wearing wool clothing and a cloak with a hood that is pulled back, and he has stark, pitch black hair, which curls all around his head, a beard, a copious beard, and dark olive skin and brown eyes, in stark contrast to most of the people here in Agadir. And he says, I just want to say that I feel shame, deep shame, and he bangs his fist against his chest. And when he does, you actually barely hear like this little bit of sound coming from his clothing, and you notice like a small bump that he hadn't noticed in his in his the clothes that are covering his chest, and you notice that his left arm is a little bit folded, like he's hiding something under his clothing. But anyway, he says, "I am deeply shamed and ashamed of the insults to the Chilean coasts and the livelihood of the good, decent, hard-working people here, perpetrated by these awful pirates in league with Arby's and all manner of despicable creatures. I hope only to show people that people from Kem and the lands across the burning sea can also be fair."
Well, now that you are my disciple, you will definitely be succeeding in that endeavor. Of course, this isn't a morning time. This isn't a time for being able to be sad about all of this. Of course, it is time for us, for you to become men. And I want you to all, first of all, find yourselves a mistletoe. Now, it's very easy to find them there, which is why I tell you to follow yourselves outside of the outskirts of Meadowstead and find yourselves one there. It's very slightly barren over there, which is why you're going to have a bit more of a challenge doing so. But I shall warn you, you will have to return to me before the 9th, which is the bare evening, at sundown, to return with me with at least one mistletoe so we can begin. So what you guys are going to be doing is you guys are now going to go and to the nearest sort of exit of the town, and you guys are going to start trying to find a mistletoe. So you guys can go ahead and give me a perception check.
See Demir give another almost exaggerated bow to the leader of the tribe. What's his name again, Hassan?
His name is Nemedius.
I bow to Nemedius again and I say, "Yes, we shall pluck with discerning eyes and fingers a good mistletoe for you, king of the Nemedi." And I show myself out the door.
Very well. And you, are you following your friend?
I am. My perception. I got 9 for my perception check.
Okie dokes. So
7 for me.
no problem at all. So Carlos, your character, he literally from the blink of an eye can see one indirect sight as soon as he steps a foot out into the outskirts of Meadowstead. Now you go up, you pick it up, and it looks to be a very, very nice mistletoe. It's very vibrant which is a bit slightly weird considering it's quite, it's quite snowy, it's quite, very cold. You wouldn't really think, the mistletoe would be able to survive in such cold weather, but you found a very good one. On the other hand, Ignacio, your character, he wasn't successful. You guys got into a bit of a quarrel, finding that one first. So you guys can go ahead and roleplay that as you wish.
See me wrapping the cloak around my figure, and the hood is pulled over my head, and I'm slightly trembling from the cold a little bit as I trudge through the forest, and I can't find much of anything as my eyes are squinting from the cold wind. And then I hear a little bit to my right, maybe a good 30 or 40 feet away, Ozlak exclaiming in glee as he finds the mistletoe.
Demir! Demir! I'm standing in this barren area with the cold winds blowing by and kind of snow. You see snow breezes just kind of like gliding over the top of the barren ground. And you see me with my cloak blowing to the side. Demir! Look, we just started looking and look what I found. What luck!
Some people have all the luck, and I wrap my cloak tighter around myself, and I walk to him and I say, do I remember correctly, Ozlak, or did the king say that one mistletoe would be enough for both of us?
I believe he did say something to that effect. But maybe we should take a little bit of time to look more just to be sure. I guess it wouldn't hurt. Well, wouldn't hurt to go back either. We could come back out.
Look at the branch, and I'm thinking about how long would you say this branch is, Ozlak?
I would say, well, it's not bigger than my elbow to tip of finger, but it's close. So I'd say about the size of a forearm. If I had to,
You see Demira rubbing his chin as he looks at the mistletoe and ponders whether he should just snap it in two and pretend like it's two branches. But then he thinks to himself, "No, they'll be able to see through that." And he says, "Well, yes, maybe I should look a little bit further."
Okay, guys. So Ignacio, you're gonna roll one more time for a perception check.
Yeah, that's actually another 7.
Really? Okay, no worries. Well, you carry on going a bit further, a little bit more further to the outskirts, a little bit further than where Carlos's character was going, and you start to see more plants are now starting to manifest. So you know that you're getting closer. Now, give me, Ignacio, can you give me a D6 roll, please?
6.
Okay, thanks. But what you see is that there is a bush to your right, and just by the trees, which is surprising under. Well, it's a bit weird for a bush to be there in such a very barren sort of state of the field, but you start to notice some shingling, and it starts to kind of shake a little bit more. And what you see is, as seconds go by, a boar comes out with a whole load of mistletoes in its mouth.
What is it that comes out?
It's a boar that slowly comes out, which seemingly seems to be consuming mistletoes for whatever reason.
a Toro.
Is it looking at me right now? Does it seem to have noticed me?
Right now, it doesn't seem like it's noticed you, but you definitely know it's there.
I'd like to take cover.
Okay, no problem. So you take, yeah, you don't need to re-roll for it because you know the element surprise is there for the boar. So you kind of take about a cover from that, maybe 10 feet. Doesn't really notice you, but at the same time,
I imagine that I'm kneeling down right behind a tree, kind of peeking barely around the corner.
Okay, no problem. But it doesn't seem to be aggressive. It just looks like it's eating. You know, it looks like a normal boar in the wild. Obviously, less aggressive than what is so to be proclaimed. What would you want to do to proceed the situation?
So Demir scans around with his eyes, trying to locate Ozlak. If I see him, I want to see if I can make eye contact with him and signal with my hands for him to also take cover.
Yeah, I would be back. I would be back behind you, not close enough to see what you were looking at, but close enough to see you making eye contact. Definitely.
I put my finger to my lips and kind of make this gesture with my hands, like kind of telling you to like crouch down and try to not be seen.
So I'll crouch down and I'll start trying to move kind of behind you in a way, so whatever is in front of us, you know, I'll be out of the vision as long as you're out of its vision.
I look at Ozlak. Does he have a bow or anything like that?
My only missile weapon is my throwing axe. I can use it in melee or throw it.
I say we wait for the board to leave. And then we approach the bush. There seems to be mistletoe in it, or close to it. Maybe he'll leave some behind.
Oslak's eyes light up, and at this point, his cloak is up above his nose, covering the bottom half. But you see his eyes get wide. A boar, and I nod. Okay. And I'm gonna go with what you said. I agree.
Now the boars are not native to Thule. Isan, do you think they came from where I'm from?
Well, yes, because you definitely know that, and this is character knowledge as well. You know that is definitely not a native thing, especially in these parts. But from what everything's been happening, from what Nemedius has said, you're seeing creatures that you never really seen before. So you can only assume that it's not from here.
I say, boars sometimes attack when they feel threatened. I thought for a moment that we might scare it into dropping the mistletoe and running away, but now I'm thinking that might not be the best idea. I say we wait and see.
Must have, if he hasn't even chewed it up yet, the bush must be close where he got those from. You're right, we'll wait, and wherever he got those mistletoe, we'll get some more.
You maybe can follow its tracks and backtrack them.
So what you start noticing as you guys, and this is also in real time now, so as you guys are saying this, the boar starts also snorting, being its boorish self, and it starts edging closer and closer to you. Of course, it doesn't sense you're there, but it's getting closer and closer to you.
Does it look like he's coming straight for this tree, or does it look like he's gonna go around it?
He's going straight towards it, as if there's something there, but you're not quite sure what sort of, if it is going to come around or not. You can only assume that it's just coming towards you, towards the tree where you guys are taking cover from.
So what I want to do is, if he seems to be turning, I want to turn backwards so that I'm still behind as he turns. If he doesn't turn, then I just want to stay where I am and listen.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so yeah, it's about probably 3 feet from you now, and it's just kind of like you hear it chomping away at what you can assume is mistletoes, or it could just be just the grass and the plants that are near you. All you have to do is just take a look.
So as I hear the boar, I was like, you see Demir, actually, his left hand goes to his chest, kind of the left side of his chest, and he's doing this little caressing motion, almost like he's trying to calm something down. And you hear him barely under his breath saying,
"No problem." And Carlos, what's your character doing right now in real time?
Right now, I'm looking at Demir, and I have a face like, what the fuck is he doing? I'm just looking at him with my head tilted. Kind of, I don't get what he's doing, caressing his chest, and I'm just thinking about the boar, and I'm staying back, but I'm thinking about the boar. I want to grab it and kill it for food.
You see my loose fitting clothing, but as I do this, you realize that basically the left side of my chest is a little higher than the right, there's something under my clothing of some sort.
Okay, no problem. So, and as you guys are doing this, the boar suddenly kind of looks back and snorts a bit differently this time. But what you can hear is the whimpering sounds of an RB, just a lone RB, which seemingly that you can assume has called the boar, and the boar has gone straight to it. Now, the boar has gone into the northeast portion, just to the left side of the path where you guys were before. You decided to also take cover, and then they start walking in the opposite direction, so away from you.
So I heard what sounded like an RV, and then I heard the boar kind of go in the direction of that sound.
Okie dokes.
Walking towards it?
Correct.
Okay, so I palm my shield and unsheath my sword quietly, and I stay behind the tree for now.
Okay, no problem. And Carlos, what are you doing?
I was like, I'm gonna pull out my battle axe. I'm sorry, my pickaxe,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna have it in my right hand and kind of have it cocked up, and I'm gonna stay at Demir's side, but keep my eyes on this boar that's now following the sound we just heard.
You see me pull a curved short sword from the scabbard on my chest with my left hand. You realize now that I'm left-handed, and you hear a very faint sound as it comes out.
No problem at all. Okay, so as they are walking, they suddenly stop and they look in your general direction. Now, they do not know you're there, but they can sense that something is there. And then the voice calls out in Arabic, obviously roughly translated.
I speak Arabic, so I should be able to understand.
Yeah. He literally says, "Who is there?" in a very like grotesque voice.
Do I hear the boar at all?
The boar is kind of like just silent. Is kind of sniffing the air, moving its like is using its sense of smell to actually determine if someone is actually there. So you can't really hear it except for maybe just a few snooting sounds.
Can I hear? I mean, I'm still behind the tree. I'm not looking, so all of this would be sound.
Correct.
But where can I? Do I know anything about the relative location of the RV and the boar?
So as I said, they're at this moment in time, they are probably 10 to 15 feet away from you guys. As you guys are obviously doing all that.
But where is the boar in relation to the RV?
Literally right next to it, just behind them. Literally just like point blank.
So you see me raise my eyebrow as I'm quite intrigued about like this boar acting very tame around this RV. But I don't say anything for the time being. I just keep very still.
No problem. Okay, so guys, give me a 3d6 roll, please.
11.
Okie dokes. And Carlos.
8.
8. Okie dokes.
By the way, you know about my flaws, right, Hassan?
Oh yeah, I've got them here, mate. No problem.
Okay, cool.
That is fine. Okay, so the RB is kind of like, yeah, no answer. Very well. Must be me then, in a very like kind of annoyed sort of tone, as if he wanted some sort of action going. And he just goes on his way. Now, as he leaves, you guys peek your head very slowly, more slowly, protruding your head ever so slightly just to get a better vision of what actually is going on. And eventually they leave in the sight of the fog as it slowly starts to build. And yeah, the RB
Is the boar following the RB?
Correct. What you can assume from what you're seeing is that it's tamed by this RB. Now, you don't know why or how, but it's tamed.
Strange. I know boars to be solitary nighttime creatures. It's not natural.
And
Very
with
strange. It's bizarre. I've never seen anything like this. An animal like that tame.
and then out from nowhere, the Medius is literally right behind you and kind of whispers, "That is a very interesting sight." Now give me a 3d6, guys.
Natural 17.
Okay,
Natural 11.
nice one. So you
So
guys,
I start to my feet and I give a little gasp. And as I do, you hear like this barely perceptible sound coming from my clothing. Like, and I turn around and I say, Nemedius, good man. Good to see you there, but I didn't quite expect you.
that is fine. I like to see what my children are up to, you see. Now, it's quite a predicament you are in. But I say to you, children, unless you are ready to take on the real world, do not tread their path. Stay well away from them. That man there is what I can only assume a very high level or a high class sorcerer. I don't know how he's obtained this power, but I'll stay away from him.
I visibly shudder.
Thank you for saving us from making a grave mistake.
That is fine. I knew you guys couldn't resist the urge to go at the boar, but that is unlike any of my other children. This is actually the first encounter I've had of this before, so I can only tell for your safety, stay away from them. Now, sons, do you have those mistletoes?
And I was over the branch.
Okay.
As I wipe cold sweat from my brow, without even bothering to sheath my sword yet, in a kind of an awkward motion of my arm, as my bottom lip is slightly trembling, I say, yes, Ozlek here has good eyes.
This branch is quite an interesting size. And then what Nemedius does, he takes the branch and he breaks it from the middle, so it's two equal parts, and he gives one back to Carlos's character and one back to you, Ignacio. He says to you, so I can tell. And then he looks at Carlos's character. I could tell you had the intention of breaking this and giving it to Demir. Is that right?
That is true. That thought did go through our minds, but we thought not to cheat.
Well, I give you less credit than I should be giving you for. You guys surprised me in any case. Very well. Good job, my lads. Right.
You have prying eyes that peek into the heart of man. Perhaps that is why you're a king.
Well, there's many reasons why I'm king, but I'm sure you will find many more reasons to come. All right, my children, we must now go back. It's now coming towards just afternoon now, so we should probably get some food, and we'll be carrying on in our next part of the initiation phase. So follow me.
As we walk back, I whisper to Ozlek, "Can you believe this man? Quiet, stealthy as a mouse or a little insect." And I say, I think he could defeat an experienced commission merchant at the haggling.
It won't be. And then as you are whispering that to him, he says, "Well, I could tell you many stories of that just happening, but that is enough of excitement for one day. I think we'll get some nice food prepared for you, and then we will begin the next phase.
There's a slight trembling of my hand as I slowly sheath the blade back into its scabbard.
No worries. So you guys obviously go back into his hut. You've been prepared food, and you have a rest, have a eat. You guys had a good time. Okay, my lads, you are free to do what you want now, and tomorrow at noon we will begin our initiation phase. The only reason why I say next morning is because I have a task for you that is a little bit more daunting than what you found today. Now, I did say to stay away from the Arby's, and that is exactly what you will be doing. But you'll be undertaking a bit more of a challenge than just an Arby. How does that sound to you all?
Definitely up for a challenge. What say you, Demir?
I say faint hearts never won fair ladies.
That is true, young one. That is true.
Aye.
But they do say, if you want to run away from a wolf, you'll probably run into a bear. So tread well, young ones. And then at this time, he feels very tired and kind of just goes into his room to sleep for a few hours and meditate, of course. So you guys are free to do what you want. You guys can explore. Guys can do what you want right now. It's free game for you right now.
I stand and wipe the food from my mustache and with the back of my hand, look over at Ozlek and kind of give him a quick look up and down his whole frame as he's taller than me, a little heavier, and I look into his eyes for a brief moment. Then I come close to him and I say, "Did you hesitate when you saw the hideous Arby?"
Well, not quite.
Of course, neither did I. Say, have you ever heard of an Arby wielding powers of magic? I thought that was all legends and scary stories that Thulean women tell their children. In Chem, I only know Arby's to be strong and good at war, and some of the women, they're sometimes taken as captives, kept as slaves. Some people even have children with them.
And as you guys are saying that, obviously his Numidius' wife comes in. Children, but this is true. You see, I'm not sure if he's told you. Has he told you?
Told us what, fair lady?
I see. So, and as she cleans up all the dishes and stuff, so in a land far away from there is a place that's, I believe, known as Homlett, which we generally say the land, a forgotten land of Khem. Is one of the deities was a very, very, I'd say a very dark one, and unlike the Lord Hadnush, she used, and yes, this is a goddess, she used her powers for nothing but for evil, to abuse her power. So using the power of her element and her own, even the powers of her, her brethren, she started to create RBs, 18s, creatures that are unlike what we see here in Thule. When you go outside, you see very nice animals. You see very natural animals, but this one is, you see boars from nowhere. You see undead, what appears to be undead animals, you know, grotesque looking. What I can sense are trolls. And that man that he saw was what used to be someone who was very profound in their knowledge of the traditions and in sorcery. He too was a Thulian. However, he was sent on a mission, not by anyone but himself, to rid of this deity. He managed to seal her away in what I would like to probably say, maybe a stone seal, a slate seal. Once it was sealed, there was the balance of the land. The lost land of Kem was very unbalanced. Many things happened. There was tornadoes, there were calamities happening, and he went back to bring her back, to bring balance back to this world. But unto his knowledge, she took him under took his powers in a very strange way. I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but he became one of her pawns, and that's who he is. So that is why you may have seen that person. And from what I know, and from what he knows, that is the same man.
Hassan, is this woman the queen?
Which woman? Sorry. Yes, sorry.
The woman.
Yeah, correct.
I raise a finger in the air and I say, "Fair queen of Namidi, tell me, how does one reach the land of Homlett?"
Ah, my child, you are quite the persistent one, aren't you? I can see what my king sees in you children. To get to the land of Homlett, you need to travel to the lands of Adalanga. But it's a very treacherous journey. And until you become of age, you will not be making it there. Not even with the Lord's help or the God's help. There's too many things happening there. That is too much of a danger. We have, he's probably said before as well, there's many Arabis and even some commissioned pirates who are terrorizing the regions as we speak. Who knows what numbers there are? Who knows how many people they've slaughtered, how many settlements they've taken over, which is why it's very dangerous, and we would not allow you to do that.
Out of game, the son, Ethan just texted me. He won't be able to make it. He apologizes. I told him,
no problem.
We understand.
That's okay. That's no problem. We'll get him in next session.
So I look at the queen and I look at Ozlak for a moment and I say, am I to understand that if we gain the king's favor as men, as equals, equal to all others of the Nemedi, he would aid us in reaching Andalanga?
Well, dear child, when he senses great potential in his children, he will allow them to do so. But this is the first test. and that will be another test in itself. But for the moment, you should focus on becoming men and passing the initiation. And I'm very sure you will do just fine.
Certainly. I would trust your words as much as I trust your stew to be delicious. And I smile.
As a comedian, you have a very, very high morale and a very good etiquette. It's a bit upsetting why many people are not like you, children. I see you as my own. Please make yourself at home. You may stay the night as you wish, and please do not hesitate to ask me about anything.
I am humbled and honored to be seen as one of the Nemeti by none other than you.
The pleasure's all mine, young child. Now off you go. Do what you need to do. And then she kind of like just finishes off the dishes and kind of starts cleaning the house a little bit, and then just settles in for the evening. This is during the course of the evening as well. I kind of summarized the whole sort of thing with the RBs and everything in a kind of like a time skip almost. So obviously with no, carry on.
That's the mayor.
I hear of a custom in your land. You believe in the gods of Thule, do you not?
I do.
I don't know much about these things, but one hears stories from sailors, from staying with people, exchanging things for dinners, for shelter. They tell you things. I hear of something called the Wild Hunt. Have you been through a wild hunt? You seem old enough.
I have.
Do you think the initiation that Medius has planned for us is anything like that? I hear there are dangers.
I'm very curious. I'm not sure exactly what he has planned for us, but I'm sure we'll make it through.
If you watch my back, my friend from Taoya, I shall be sure to live to see another day. Son, little question.
Go for it.
Now, Meadowstead, how big is it?
Meadowstead is it's a fair decent sized town. If you've got the map of Agadir there with you.
Yeah, I see it. It's on the north. It's on the north. Well, I mean, it's inland, but one could get to the north coast.
Correct. Yeah.
And is there a market here during the day, or an area where people trade?
Yes, of course.
Excellent.
At the moment, obviously everyone's packed up, but in the morning, from dawn onwards until the night, evening, there are merchants around. There are people trading, like a normal town would.
So I imagine I've been here about a week already, and I kind of know a little bit of the people here. How many people live here?
So we'll probably say about maybe 300 people. So it's a fairly decent sized sort of town for a region of of a small scale. So of course you guys have had the rest and stuff. You guys have gotten used to like the settlements and stuff. And then you are approached by Nemedius, and he says, "Ah, children, there you are. I've been wanting to find you. I've been unfortunately sidetracked with a few things on my own, but let's start your initiation phase to part 2. So if you wish to finish anything you want to be doing first, then please do so. You'll find me just near the outskirts of this town where we found that encounter with DRP." I'll be right there. And in a blink of an eye, he's like gone. You don't know how he's gone, but he's literally just gone.
And I make my way to the market. If you look for me, I was like, you will probably find me there.
And Carlos, what are you doing, mate?
Well, see, I would definitely head to the marketplace, and I don't think Oslek is really gonna be looking for anything to buy. He may just be talking to locals and.
Yeah, no problem. So just kind of getting to know everyone.
I'm gonna say, I was like, at some point, I imagine this market is not overly big. I mean, this is a town of about 300.
Yeah, so
everything's pretty much in earshot of each other. So you hear, you hear something kind of a little bit further away. You look in that direction, and if you guys have ever played Secret of Monkey Island, you know the guy that tries to sell you the boats, and he's moving his hands in all directions and telling you about what the boats are like.
Oh, yes, Marty.
Yeah, so that's exactly what you see. You see Demir gesticulating wildly with his arms, moving his arms as he speaks, like way more than people usually do here in Thule. Almost like a wild man, and you see it kind of out of it. You faintly can see like this glint in his eye as he's speaking in very animated Thulean to a merchant. And at one point, he reaches into the left side of his clothing, and the clothing covering his chest, and he pulls out, and you hear a little sound, ah! And it's a live chicken. And he holds this animal in front of this man that's talking to him, and you hear faintly a little bit further away, I tell you, this is no ordinary chicken. This is a hen. This will give you eggs. I say, will you take this? I say, if you take this hen, all yours. You can keep it for the rest of your life, and it is a long-lived young hen, lays eggs every single day. Will you give me that wonderful hat that I've had my eye on? Will you trade this hat for me at half price if I give you this hen? You see, it's an investment. A hen will give you eggs for the entire winter.
Yes. And then he's kind of the merchant is scratching, kind of thinking, yes, eggs every day. I think my wife and kids
out a little bit there. What did I miss?
Sorry, say that again.
I think I lagged a little bit because there was like a long pause after I asked that question. So if you said anything, I think I missed it.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I'll just repeat. So he's saying, yeah, okay. Yeah, half price. That's, yeah, okay. Maybe a bit of a loss, but the hen can give me eggs. Yeah, I think my kids will like that. Yeah, Ayago would definitely love that. Yeah.
Not only your children, but your wife, the lady of the house, she will love this hen. It is a reliable hen. You will see. You will have more eggs that you know what to do with. You will end up giving them to your neighbors.
Absolutely. And then he kind of looks at the hen and he's like, yeah, from a commission, this is fairly pristine. And then he kind of like looks at you and kind of squints at you. He's like, are you a commission? You look like it, but you don't act like it.
Well, there are many people in Chem. Some of them are untrustworthy, but most are nice people. They would much likely have you over for dinner than cheat you. And well, this let us be fair here, man. This hen and half price for that hat. I think you are getting the better deal here. And I kind of like preen the feathers a little bit and show this hen off.
Well, you definitely know how to how to make a very good trade. So
I make a quick glance over in the direction of Ozlek as I've noticed him, and I just looked at him for a minute, and then I look back at this man smiling.
So, and then the transaction goes through and goes, yes, I can see what you're saying now. And obviously, he then kind of puts the hen away, in where it doesn't run away or anything, but it's fairly it's fairly compact. He goes, thank you very much. That's going to be very helpful to me. And then, like a second later, you just hear like a crack. And then the merchant just kind of looks and like an egg just popped out. And I was like, wow, you were not joking about that. Wow. Yes, absolutely. Please.
Reliable.
Come. Yes, very reliable. Please come by my merchant anytime you want. You are a very, very trustworthy merchant yourself and a very good patron. Thank you very much for that.
So I reached for the hat, put it on my head, and okay, Hassan, has this man mentioned the payment at all, or did he just take the hen and let me take the hat?
Yeah, he literally just didn't worry about the payment. He literally said, you know what, he will do it because of how good it was, but it wasn't too good to be true. To have that doubt. So he gave you the benefit of the doubt.
I extend my hand to him, and I imagine that he hesitates for a moment as the gesture is a little bit uncommon here for such a small time business deal. But he probably shakes my hand, and I shake it vigorously and say, "Pleasure trading with you."
Absolutely. I don't generally do this, but I like you. I like you very much. Not your kind, but I like you. And then he shakes his hand.
That is good enough for me.
Okay, so you guys will fast track here. So you guys obviously have done all your endeavors. You've got what you needed, and then you find Nemedius back where we found the boar and the Arabi. And then he says, children, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Sorry to delay you any longer. Let us be on our way. So he starts walking to the east towards the burial mound. Now you can see the gates, fed are coming over the horizon quite fairly quickly, because it's relatively near anyway. And obviously, as you get closer to the burial mound, you are starting to see that the atmosphere is becoming more and more monotone, and you're going towards a place of the dead, really. And then he's he's leading you. You guys are shoulder to shoulder, more or less, in that sort of formation. You guys are going straight ahead, and then Nemedius instantly says, "Don't worry. I'm not taking you to your deaths. I am merely showing you what it takes to become a man, and I will let you do what it takes to become one yourself. But for the moment, please just bear with me and keep to the tracks where I'm going."
I defer to your knowledge, Nemedius. It is said where I'm from that a young man, when he speaks to an older one, he exchanges copper for gold.
Yes, but of course, in my town, some such customs, are generally not always there. It's fine. With knowledge is vast, very vast. I may know a lot, but who knows? One day you will know more than I will. You may surpass me, or who knows what will happen.
I was like, I sensed you were about to speak. Be not shy, my friend. After all, you are of Thule and in Thule.
Yes, child, please speak up. You are very, very quiet.
We trust you, Nemedius. We trust that you are not taking us into danger, and we trust that we will also prove to you.
I would not lead you to your dooms unless I knew you all could handle it. And I know exactly your weaknesses and your strong points. So we will use all of that information to fine-tune you into fine men. Women who will all over the region will want you. All the children wanting to be just like you. You'll just be heroes, as they say. You'll be very, very virtuous men. And that's what I see in you.
Demir whispers under his breath, "A Chilean woman, I say, why not?"
as he laughs, because he could obviously, he knows that comment anyway. It would come from his lips. Right, enough with the profanity here. Right, my children, come stand by my side.
Like walks
So
over.
we're in the forest now, Isan?
We guys are outside the gate of the burial mound. So we're directly at the gates now. And Nemedius takes out a bronze, very old looking rust. I won't say rusty, but it looks very kind of like aged bronze, which is in the form of a how would you say it? What is it called again? Sorry, let me just try to remember what this thing was called. Ah, yes, a lure, or as it's known as a flute. And he looks directly towards Oslak. I know you have some connection with this device here. Why don't you give it a whirl? And he hands this bronze lore to him. He says, "Play. Do not be shy."
Slack takes it and smiles. Says, "Oh, your insight is wonders. It never ceases to amaze us, my friend." And he puts it to his lips and plays.
And as you play that, you feel a tremor, and one and you can hear like a click as it tremors, and then the tremor literally stops. Well done. That was very nice. Okay, Demir, now your turn.
So I take the what looks to me like a sort of whistle, and I blow into it. I kind of move my mouth a little bit to warm up my lips, and then I put my lips to it and whistle.
Sounds like a folk chem song to me, but alas, very nice. And he raises his finger, and the gates open. Very, very gradually, they're open. Ah, there we go. Well done, my lads. That is one part of it done. Let's stroll in now.
You see that? Oslak, the gate opened on its own.
And as you guys walk in, you obviously you guys can talk in the meantime.
It's amazing, Demir. In the past hours, I've seen things that I've only thought to be things of fairy tales.
I've seen men in chem pretend to do magic with smoke and mirrors, but never something such as this.
One day you'll be just as great as I am. As he makes a very, very quick comment on that. Okay, children, So as he basically leads you into a burial mound, you can see a whole load of you know, mud, burial sites and everything. But there's one little lone tree, and it's about probably I'd say maybe 20 feet. And then you guys approach it, the tree. Now this looks to be quite well, because it's obviously New Year's. Well, New Year's and winter solace is around the corner. You can tell obviously the leaves are completely gone, obviously because of the winter. And then he says, "Right, children. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to one mound, and I want you to take the fabric or the clothes that you see on any of the burial mound, and I want you to put that on the tree." Any questions?
Seemed easy enough.
So I walk to the right and find a burial mound with a tree growing upon it. I climb up on it and almost slipping a little as I do, and I find some clothes which I hang on the lowest hanging branch, having to stand on my toes a little bit.
No problem. So, okay, you've done that well. Well done. Now, take it off, climb the tree to the toppest of the top, to the peak of the tree, and I want you to hang your clothes there too.
And I hold my tongue and I attempt to climb the tree.
Give me a acrobatics check, please.
So before I climb, I leave my shield behind, and so I have both hands free, and that's an 8.
Sweet, no worries. So you climb, you stumbled this a little bit, but you managed to climb the tree, and you put your clothes on there that you picked up, and the wind is starting to pick up from the left side, so that's coming against you guys. So you can, when you look up or when you look at it, you can see that the clothes is, you know, starting to kind of make a little like a weave, almost is weaving in accordance with the wind. So you can definitely know that it's hooked on properly. And then,
sorry, son, is this the clothes that I found on the mound, or is
correct,
this my clothes? Oh, okay.
The ones you found on the mound, yeah. And then he looks to Oslak and he goes, "Ah, I see you are surveying where to put it, aren't you? Or are you just making sure your friend is okay in climbing up the tree?"
Yes, I wanted to give Demir a chance first. And then,
very virtuous, very virtuous. Right, so proceed.
So, with no further ado, and Oslak walks up to another tree and starts climbing up as high as he can with his long legs and long arms. He doesn't have to do too many pull-ups to get close to the top, and he's not trying to show off either. He's just getting up there and placing some of the clothes as high as he can. And he kind of looks back down and smiles.
Very well done. Your nimbleness reminds me in the day of my youth. Reminds me of the days I climbed the Nordland mountains with nothing but leather clothing, beaten, bruised, almost malnourished, as they say. He looks, and then he has a nostalgic sort of tone to him, and he just looks like it's, you know, it's just happening really good. Yeah, it's actually like late morning, just so you know. It's just like late morning coming towards our noontime almost. So he says, okay, all right, children, now you may also return to where you are. So now we now need to, and then he kind of thinks to himself, we've done this, we've done that. Okay. Ah, yes, of course. The most important part of the whole process. Now, unsheathe your swords and unsheathe your weapons.
So as I make my way down, I pick up my shield, grab my right arm, and then my left hand reaches, and you hear as the curved blade emerges, shining from the dull sunlight coming through the clouds.
No problem. Well done, well done. And of course, Oslak, I can see you are ready already. You look like you're ready for action. That's very well done.
Yes, sir. He hands over his sword axe and pickaxe.
Good, good. Follow me. And then he takes you outside of the gates. And as the last step is taken outside of the gate closes immediately. Don't worry about that, lads. You'll return there one day without the whistle. Now follow me. And he takes you, you guys obviously go back on yourselves. You're coming back west. And then you're now back at the path that way saw the Arabi. And then he says, now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to wait for you to return. What I want you to do is I want you to hunt yourselves a cow, a full live cow. And I want you to obviously hunt it, but I want you to return to this mound with the mistletoes you had. Now, obviously, at this moment in time, you guys will still have the mistletoes on you. You probably will have put it inside your pouches or something. And then Namiya says, well, provided you obviously are trustworthy in yourselves killing a cow, nothing but your own hands, then that will be sufficient for the initiation. Otherwise the limit is you must return before the 9th. And at this moment in time, we're probably in about maybe the 5th day now. Obviously near in the Thulian calendar. So realistically, you have 4 days to actually find yourselves a cow and actually kill it, and then return back. So and he says, well, okay, children, I'm gonna now leave. Please return when you can. Farewell. And this time you can see him kind of like just walking back. You can see him limping with his staff a little bit, but he's making his way back. And now it's up to you guys to do what you want to do now. If you guys want to take a quick rest here, or if you guys want to go ahead and start hunting.
If it's okay with you, Carlos, I would just say we go right ahead.
I agree, friend.
Oslak, you know, you can track, no? You're some kind of hunter?
I am. I'm a stalker. An assassin by profession. I'm skilled in tracking, my friend.
Well, if you can track a man, I say you can surely track an ox or a cow. Lead the way, my friend. I will cover your back.
So Oslak starts to move out, looks forward, and leads the way and starts looking low to the ground, looking for tracks, and also looking for trees where where after the cows graze, they might go. He knows that they go to shit near the trees, near the fields. So he's looking for clumps of trees outside fields and footprints in the mud.
Okay. So do you want to give me a perception check, please, or a tracking check, whichever one works? What did you roll? Sorry, did you guys get that?
I'm sorry, I got a total of 8.
8. Okay, no problem at all. Let me see what you see. So yeah, you can see, you can just about track using just the smell of the fecal matter. Of course, you are going, this is also crossroads at the moment now, so you're going to be going straight west still. And you guys are just going to keep following, you know, whatever the tracks as well. You can see that there is some distinct tracks there, whereas, you know, multiple cows have been, you know, and some will be able to smell. And you come to kind of like a whole field of cows kind of just jumping away, really. And what you notice is one is kind of like almost like it's been brutalized, half eaten, and it looks pretty darn fresh as well.
Are there wolves in this area, Azlak? Do you know?
I would think so, but the wolves, they won't really. Very rare to see them in the light of day.
Does this kill look fresh to you, friend?
It does. He kind of gets close and puts his hand over to show you can still feel the steam coming up.
Okay, so as you guys are doing all that, you suddenly start seeing, you know, you start hearing some snorting sounds, like as if you've heard this before, and it's coming from the right side.
Amir immediately takes cover behind something.
Okay, so if you give me a stealth check, please.
Given that I have my shield, that's only an 8.
No problem. To be honest, there wasn't much of a high DD anyway, so you'll be all right. So because there's a bit of, because the grass is a little bit tall and there are a few bushes, you manage to kind of like sneak yourself into the bushes again. And that same boar that you saw earlier on is running in the field, you know, going after the cows. And shortly after, you hear laughter in, you know, in the RB sort of tone, and it's that same RB you saw recently. And he's kind of just, you know, directing traffic, and he's just laughing to himself, saying, yes, let's take them all out. Let's take them all out. And then as that's all happening, the cow that was dead is starting to kind of form itself into a ball. And eventually what happens is, maybe a few seconds after, it kind of transitioned completely into like a ball, a working ball, and it stands up as if nothing's happened to it.
Cold sweat runs down my olive-skinned forehead as I scan with my eyes around me, trying to see Ozlok.
What is this that stands before us? This dead cow?
This is no smoke and mirrors, friend. This is real magic, and to be frank, it makes me a little bit nervous, just slightly nervous, as I wipe the copious beads of sweat from my forehead.
Could this be the test that Nemedius intended? I think not.
He did tell us to be wary of the Arby, a hideous creature, not a normal Arby either. If the queen is right, then this monster was not born but made.
And as you guys say that, he speaks up, and you're most certainly right. And he looks in your general direction, and he has. I'm not obviously. He literally knows that you're there, but he was quote unquote playing dumb. This is kind of out of character, so he's playing dumb, and he knows you're there anyway. And he says to your characters, "You don't need to hide from me. Stand up at once," in a very adversarial tone.
What language is he speaking?
He's speaking in Arby, and then he repeats it in Thulian as well.
You see the trembling top edge of a shield rise from behind the bush, and then very, very slowly, like the shield keeps rising and rising, and then the shield appears to be in the air as like the tops of thighs appear from beneath it, and you can't see my arms or face at all as I'm completely covered by it, cowering and making my back round as if to have myself completely covered by the shield as much as I can, even though it's not big enough to cover my whole body, but I'm making my body smaller.
Ah, I see. And he's just kind of squaring you up a little bit. He's just kind of just trying to really get a gist of what and who you are. And then
I am Demir, a merchant from Kem. And your name, stranger, perhaps a friend?
Friend. Friend. Who needs friends? Well, at least if you are a friend of a deity, then that is fine by me. But that's all you need to know. You will see me another time. But be warned, the time that you pass the initiation, only bad will come your way. And I mean it. Who knows what I will do, and who knows what you will do. But our paths will meet again. So finish with your pathetic tradition, and eventually, when we take over, there'll be nothing of you left. Come on, let's go. And then he calls the two boars now, and they just make a very dramatic sort of exit. And then he stops as he's going. Demir and Oslak. I'll remember the names. And he vanishes in thin air.
Titus, what is that man? What is that Arby?
Not a friendly fellow, is he?
It's him. As Nemedius says, it's really him. Never thought I'd see him again.
Nemedius, is that you? Jeez, man, where did you come from?
You do not need to worry about that, my child. I'm not sure what he was doing here, but I'm sure he's after something. And I think he's got some eyes on you. This is very bad. Very bad. Right. Let's not worry about that for the moment. He's fended off for the moment because he knew my presence was in the air.
Numidius, no man or Arby can see through a shield. Right? Right?
He's not your average RB whatsoever. Many, many years ago, he was a Thulian just like your friend here and just like me. He was a saint. He was my former king. Well, let's say he got into a bit of a predicament where he had to force himself to seal away a deity from a land far away from here. But that only broke the balance of not just that land, but even here as well. The gods are fighting with each other. The gods lost their powers. Some even lost their lives.
Homlett?
The balance. Homlett, I see. So she's told you.
Yes.
Yes.
The queen, wonderful, wonderful woman.
We'll talk about that another time. But yes, that man is no good. No good at all. I would not challenge him whatsoever for you as kids, like I said, but there is something about you that he has eyes on. Who knows, he might want to try and siphon your youthfulness and use it against us. Or perhaps he will use you as sacrifice to the goddess herself. Whether that means being abducted to the place of Homlett, or where it means they kill you here and there and take your dead bodies as prize.
Well,
but don't you
worry not, Numidius. I am slippery, like a fish. Have you ever tried to fish with no trident or hook?
dear child, you know things I do not. I know things you do not, which is why I worry. You are very courageous, very talented, but there are things you do not know about yourself that I already do know. Alas, let's carry on. I see some fine cows there. Okay, Oslak, I want you to take that one over there. And then he points into that general direction. Yes, yeah. That one, the one you're looking at right now. I want you to kill it, sacrifice it.
So, out of character, I have my weapons, right?
Correct, you do, yes.
Okay. Yes, sir. Oslak pulls out his throwing axe.
Okay, so roll to hit, please.
What's that?
If you roll to hit, please.
Okay.
Now, this is obviously a surprise attack, so you should be... I'll give you a +2 to that attack.
Okay. So that's going to be... It's going to be a total of 9.
Sweet, okay. That's a near miss. If you give us a damage, please.
That's going to be the 8. That is a 6. 6.
Okay, that's no problem. So what you've done is you've thrown the axe and you got it right in his shoulder. And as you do that, it just stumbles completely on its side and it's just not moving. Well, it's twitching, which probably indicates that you stunned it or somehow.
You see Demir, the twinkle in Demir's eye, and he rushes it and tries to slash at it.
Sweet. You can get like a +3 to that anyway to hit because it's stunned. You can go right ahead with that.
$17 with that +3.
Correct. Awesome. Yeah, that's a perfect hit. You can, for all intents and purposes, you completely just obliterate it. So feel free to role play how you do it.
Beautiful. How does the throwing axe stick into it?
So that's currently in the shoulder, just literally behind the neck. It's kind of in the more into the left side. Yeah, we'll do left side of the shoulder.
Do you see Demir as he sees the cow stumbling, it's looking like a deer in headlights? He suddenly raises his shield and curved sword in the air, gives out a little yell, and charges it like he was charging an army, single-handedly, and slashes away at its neck, cutting deeply as the blood spurts out and it stumbles to the ground. And then he turns around and says, "We did it."
Excellent. And with Nemedius kind of standing on his staff, looking, gazing you, and he smiles. Well done, my lads. Now, come through me. And he leads you back straight to the actual burial mound once again. Now, bearing in mind, you guys want, at least with Demir, your clothes are blood-soaked, ever so slightly, not too much, but enough to be, to be classed as blood-soaked. Nemedius, your sword will, Oslak, your axe will contain some blood on it, just from the sheer hit from all of it. Okay. Which is obviously a good sign anyway. So he obviously you guys are walking back, you're feeling pretty happy about yourself, but you're still a bit shaken up about the situation. And Nemedius just says to you, do not worry about that yet. We will deal with that when the time comes. We will focus on this event of you. That is the most important factor of your life. And then he looks at you both, just looking at you shoulder, because you guys are both behind him in just a normal shoulder-to-shoulder formation. And he kind of turns his head over his shoulder and says, you'll be fine. Don't you worry. As long as you stay away from him, one day you'll take him down. Or perhaps vanquish everyone that opposes the Thulian race. Of course, he looks at you, Demir, and he says, though you may not be a Thulian, you definitely act like one, and for that, I consider you one. So as he's leading you guys back, he leads you back to the gates of the burial mound. And then he kind of steps back and he says, raise your mistletoes and venture forth.
It's like raises the mistletoe up above his head and outward and starts to ritualistically kind of move within a procession type manner.
And then as you guys do that, the mistletoe begins to shine. Like there's a little glimmer at the tip of the, how would you say, maybe the seed fruits or the sprouts. And as that happens, your clothes start to vanish very soon until you both are literally nude and unprotected. Of course, your armor and stuff are completely okay. Nemir says, it's just like watching new life a newborn again. A very great sight. And he says, "Do not worry, my lads. Your armor and so everything is safe with me." And then as you guys look behind, you can see the armor, everything that you have is literally right beside him. And then he says, "Go ahead, please carry on." And as you guys look back, the gate just literally just comes wide open.
I go right in.
Okay, cool. No worries. So you guys go in, of course. You're very, very confused as to what's going on, of course. You're like, where are all my clothes? Which is probably the most logical question to ask anyway. And then the mirror says, you know, I know what you're thinking, my children. It's all part of the tradition. You'll see why in a second. And as you look forward, you leave the as you venture in, a woman appears before you in a celestial sort of feel to her, and basically she has all like the sort of blood stains that were from your clothes on her, and she literally says, "I am the she-cow. I am the one who will remove you of your child, or your childness, should I say. From here forth, you will become men, and you will be our heroes. You'll become virtuous men." And then she looks at both of you, and she says, "Though one of you may not be from these lands, and you may both be, you know, maybe not that noble of a class, but you will succeed in anything you do." And then she fast forward it on a little bit. She teaches you some riddles. She teaches you some secret verses and sacred verses, inclinations that will, you know, that actually brings about your childish nature and stuff. And anything that's related to your childhood you'll feel it kind of being sucked out as time goes on. And you guys leave the burial mound there as time goes on. You know, it's about night now, and you guys decide to leave the burial mound after the first night. There are two, you know, you guys feel pretty like different. You feel very different. You know, and feel free to roleplay this as you want to. I think it's probably better for you guys to do it than me just saying it. So go right ahead.
I feel braver than usual. What about you, friend?
Yes. You see Aslak kind of sliding his fist up his chest and then pulling it out and kind of looking at it and squeezing, tensing up his fists and smiling and nodding. Yes.
The warm blood from the animal. It was an odd feeling. It was even a little exciting.
So you have completed that portion as well. We're almost there, my children, or should I say, my men. Now, for your last portion of the initiation, I will
Is this
now
the
leave.
woman it's on?
Say again, sorry?
Is this the woman speaking?
No, this is now in the media. Sorry, I should have said.
The media.
Should have said.
You have to stop sneaking up on me like that.
once you become more experienced, you'll realize that I'm only just more quicker than you, just a little bit more quicker than you. So now your next test is to now hunt yourself a predatory animal. This is the final chapter of your initiation. This is just to ensure that the spirit that you just saw can rid you of your childishness, or shall I say your past, so that you are be a full man rather than just a child who is obviously failed his initiation, or someone who just, you know, hasn't completed it. You'll know what I mean. And so, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a meta question. Sorry if you've already mentioned this, but
yeah,
I'm trying to imagine him. What does Nemedius wear usually?
He's got a white cloak. He's quite obviously he's at a venerable age, so he's fairly old. But he wears like a cream-like cloak, leather sort of tassets, folds, you know, the works really. He just has this seniority look about him, if that's the best way to describe it.
I imagine a long white beard and white hair as well.
Correct. Yeah, he just looks, you know, once you know him, you actually know how he. Sorry, once you know how he looks, you just won't forget. You know who he is, etc.
Nemedius, you said a predatory animal, so I imagine. Well, will a boar do?
No. We won't go down that road. Hopefully not. What we need is a bear. And then he looks around, he goes, well, judging from here, we should be able to find one quite easily. Well, you should be able to find one quite easily. And then he says, well, I mean, we'll make this even a little bit more interesting. So he hands you just your weapons, but he doesn't hand you any of your armor. And then he says to you, this is the last portion. Now, I don't generally do this, only because most of the children I've ever taught don't have a special thing about them. But I see a lot of potential in you. So that's why I'm giving you the extra challenge to hunt any bear you see fit, with nothing but just the bare skin on your bones and muscles, should I say, and your trusty weapons.
Well, I guess. How much time do we have?
Well, I mean, this is our character. So at this moment will be the seventh day coming to the 8th. So during the evening time, this is now, and that you realistically need to do by the 9th day, because that's when the actual ritual actually happens, for you to actually complete it all. So that's to give you just an idea.
I believe we will fare well, good king. 2 of us versus 1 bear. I think we will fare well.
With your skills, I'm sure you'll be able to even be unscathed. But we'll see about that. Of course, I like to I do have a lot of hope in my children, only because I know I've taught them well. But of course, I'm always surprised with what I see these days. So again, we'll see. Right. So my children, I will need you to do this last favor for yourselves rather than me. So off you go. And then he points up and he looks up and he says, time's wasting.
Well, you're the tracker, my friend.
Sorry, say that again. You lagged out there a little.
And I shudder in the cold air.
Okay, so you guys obviously have now need to look for a bear. So, guys, give me a tracking roll, please.
Both of us?
Whoever, it doesn't really matter. We can do both if you want.
I would defer to my friend, the tracker.
13 total.
Sweet, no problem. So you actually see tracks that look fairly like bear tracks going into the south. I would say about southwest, which kind of leads towards like a rocky terrain, almost into a cave. Well, yeah, I'd say cave, just maybe about half an hour walk. You can see it in the distance, like there it is leading towards there. So whether or not you guys want to follow it, go for it.
No harm ever came from following some tracks, eh, friend?
Yes. Looks like he's still trying to pay attention to the grounds. He feels like he's kind of lost the track, but he wants to continue on in the direction that they've been heading so far. The tracks have been heading so far.
No problem.
Have you ever hunted a bear, my Tawian friend?
I have not. This will be a first for me.
So you guys are obviously going. You guys get closer and closer. Unfortunately, the lighting does get a little bit bad, and now you're at the mouth of the cave. But what you can hear is noises of scratching and stuff within the cave, so that definitely confirms to you there is a bear in there.
Is it nighttime now?
I'd say it's near nightfall. It's like more or less just sunset now. It's gone past sunset, sorry. So probably twilight at best, maybe evening time.
I'm gonna light a torch.
Sure, no problem. That is fine. So luckily, you still have some form of light with you. So you struck your torch, and I take it you guys go in.
I don't think I would go in.
Okay, no problem.
But I would like to... Actually, I would look at Ozlek, and I would hand him the torch and my shield. And I will say, I will take a quick look, my friend, and tell you what I see. Perhaps if we have any luck, the bear is distracted. And I want to creep up and take a look in the cave.
No problem.
I have my weapon out, but I'm just trying to be quiet.
Sure thing, sure thing. Okay, if you give me a 3d6 roll, please.
Natural 4.
Well, you peer in, but unfortunately, you step on a few twigs and rocks, and you do make some sound. That's obviously the bear's obviously heard that, and is
Is this stealth, Asan?
No, it's not that.
It's just
not
3d6. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, it was just a normal 3d6. It's just to obviously determine the event of what's actually going to happen rather than it's a stealth. So you can tell the bear is a little bit frantic. You can tell by how it's now sounding in terms of the movement. It hasn't seen you, but you can see it.
Is he on all fours?
Yes, he is.
How wide is the cave opening?
It's fairly wide actually. It's about probably maybe 3 meters across, more than that possibly.
Is the ground level here, or does it go up like in a diagonal?
It's fairly terrain. It's got a really weird terrain, so it's kind of bumpy. But for the most part, is going at a downslope.
I take cover on the side of the cave so that it couldn't see me even if it looked my way. Okay. And I signal to Ozlak to come next to me using my hands.
Ozlak.
But and I seem to be whispering something, but you can't really hear, and I don't want to speak any louder.
Ozlak crouches over in sort of a crab position, and he's holding the torch back a little bit, and he scurries over next to Demir.
Okay. How big is the bear, son?
He's I'd say he's in the cave obviously, but he's probably a bit more deeper into the cave rather than being near the cave's mouth. But the size of the cave's mouth echoes his sound, so you can audibly hear him going frantic with just finding out or being startled about the sound.
But if I saw him, like, how big is he?
He's a +3 size, so he's fairly large.
Right, yeah, he's bigger than a big man. Okay.
Now, in real time, you guys are obviously just sitting back and kind of just looking to see if there does anything. It starts to die down. You can hear it's slowly moving now, and then maybe about a minute or two later, it's complete silence again. So we're using the light source. You can see that it's now taking a siesta. It's a bit unlike a beard to be doing that, but for all intents and purposes, it's probably just napping. So what do you guys want to be doing in this situation?
I think this is an opportunity, my friend. Maybe one we will not have again.
All right. Let's seize the moment.
I say we approach it very quietly and cut into it.
Okay, guys. So if you give me a stealth roll,
so what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna leave my shield behind and creep very slowly and quietly, and let's see how well I succeed at that if I do.
Sweet.
So for me, that's gonna be a 15.
Okay. And how about you, Oslak?
I got a natural 13 plus 1, total of 14.
Sweet. Yeah, you guys definitely, see all the pebbles, all the twigs, all the sort of like hurdles that would literally give your position away. And you guys get within about 5 feet of this bear, literally striking distance, not making even a pin drop sound. You guys, swoop in like a bunch of, stalkers pretty darn well. So this is, if you are going to attack, this would be a surprise attack or surprise round, should I say. So you guys would get a +2 to your rolls anyway, because I'm gonna allow that anyway. So if you guys want to go for the
So
attack now.
just checking. The bear is still
Yep.
sleeping, right?
Correct. Yep. He has not heard a single thing. He's KO.
I hate to bring rules into this wonderful suspenseful moment,
Mm.
but are we doing it normally for like surprised or helpless creatures? Basically, their DV is nil at the moment.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, beautiful. So I'll roll my attack.
Yep.
You
Both
see,
you guys,
like
both
a
of you guys
little
can do
glint
some.
in my like.
Yep.
It's really dark, and you can only see like this glint where my eyes should be, and then you see like these apparently like teeth opening as I smile for a moment. There's something a little bit disquieting in my smile. And that is a 12. So that's a perfect hit if the DV is 0.
Yeah, with all intents and purposes. Roll damage.
I do 16 damage.
Sweet. So explain how you did it, how you strike it.
I'm going to roll cut and shock, and then I'll tell you a little bit more. So that's minus a lot, actually, because like it'll be minus 10. So actually that's a negative cut. So
so that is pretty bad. Yep, well done. That's well done.
You want me to roll the D12?
Yeah, go for it.
What's the size of the bear?
It's a +3, I said.
Okay. So
or +2, +3. Sorry.
Oh, we got lucky.
Oh, you
okay,
did.
So yeah, it's just a serious bleeding, but the shock is going to be. I rolled really low too, so let me think. It's -6, so this is a 1 for shock.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Let me just remember what that was.
It's knocked out, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Well done.
See me lift my sword, and I cut right into its neck. The blood starts pouring out, and it starts for a moment and it kind of shudders and lifts up a little.
Yeah.
But when it does, I actually hit it right in its right between the eyes with the pommel, and it seems to be a little bit dazed for a moment, and you feel like this weird like snort coming out of his nose as it kind of just slumps down and closes its eyes and just seems to not move.
Awesome. That's a very, very gory scene. I love it. Okay, so obviously it's now your turn, Carlos. So take it away.
Okay.
So I rolled 3d6. He's gonna be out like a light for 15 rounds.
Yeah. So literally, you can.
I almost moved. I was trying to move in unison with Demir, but my strike comes a little bit delayed, and I actually rolled a 17.
Yeah, just you outright just kill it. So just give us the details.
So as Demir shed some of this great bear's blood and it splattered up, I came and kind of caught some of that blood in my face. Almost looked intentional, like I was trying to catch that blood that was squirting out. And as I came to the side with my delayed attack, you see Aslok do a mighty swing with his throwing axe and just chop right into the back of the bear's head.
Nice. That is beautiful. So of course, with both of you guys, the blood is spewing everywhere. You're gonna get it on yourselves anyway, but that's just a mark of you doing the good stuff. And as it happens, you kill it. You hear a voice in your head, which sounds like I forgot his name myself actually. Oh Lord. Yeah, Namida, sorry. That's it. Yeah, I'm getting a bit tired here, you see, so starting to forget a few things. But you hear a voice in his head, and eventually it becomes louder and louder and louder until you just hear footsteps, and you guys look behind and see Namidas, and he kind of strikes his staff on the floor as a kind of like a clap, almost applause, almost, and he says, what a fine display. That was very, very, and he just kind of breaks his words a little bit because he's quite impressed with what he's seen. And now he says to himself, okay, now you have completed that. Now take the skin, completely de-skin the bear, and let's go back and we'll finish this.
I pull out a dagger from my clothing that you hadn't noticed this whole time that you've been around me, Ozlak. Must have had it pretty well hidden, and I sink to my knees and I start to pretty deftly skin this bear.
Yeah, you
like,
do it with,
like not much has ever happened.
Yeah, you do it with ease because obviously it's dead now and everything. So you do it with ease, and you get a pretty good cut considering this isn't really something a merchant does anyway. And with all that said and done, you guys head back to the burial mound. You guys obviously feast on the meat as well if you wish. That's completely fine.
I pull out two of the fangs, the largest ones, the top front ones, and hand one to my companion as I put the other one in my pouch, thinking it should make a fine necklace.
Exceptional, thank you, friend.
I'm sure you guys will be the best of friends for a very long time. Right, my lads, so now it's time for you to complete it. Head back into the gates. And as you do, the gates just go wide open. And as you do, the she-bear spirit is back. And she is looking pretty darn happy. And she says to you, well done, children. Well, I shouldn't say children to you anymore. You men have done it properly in the tradition that your forefathers did. Now, allow me to remove the last portion of your child's self. And what she does is she kind of takes the hide from you, obviously with ease as well, and she kind of puts it around her. And what you feel is you guys kind of look at yourselves, and you starting to see like an aura just kind of like manifest around you. And then you feel the same sort of something just pulling at you, and eventually it's eased off. And then she now looks at you with she's got the hide on, and she looks to have been impregnated in some sort of way. You can tell that she's her belly's kind of protruded a little bit. Something has happened. And she says to you, well, that is it. When I obviously conceive, you will all be men of virtue and of honor. And then the voice just kind of the spirit just leaves, doesn't really do anything. It just literally, she vanishes. And then you turn back to Nemedius, and then Nemedius says to you, well, that is it. You are now men. You will just have to wait until Yule and winter solstice, where we will celebrate your manlyhood. Well done, gentlemen.
Say, Nemedius, are men privy to boats?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Can men of this tribe borrow any boats?
Well, yes. I'm sure there are merchants who do that. I'm sure there are people who do that. I think probably yes. And then he kind of thinks to himself, he says, I know I have a good friend in Adalanga who builds boats, and he's a merchant of boats as well, and he sails the seas quite frequently actually. Perhaps once this is all done, you can go see him.
Hold on to that name, Nemedius. You can give it to me after the feast.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, let's go home and feast.
Yes.
And sorry, go ahead.
Great, King Nemedius.
Nah, my pleasure, gentlemen. Okay, guys, that'll be the session. This session was just your initiation. In the next episode, we will obviously start trying to get through to Homlett, but who knows what will happen. For your sake, guys, you leveled up to level 2, so you guys can sort out the leveling when we obviously take the broadcast off. Thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure, and guys, thank you very much for staying here and listening to my boring voice. So for you guys, again, if you want to plug any channels, please go ahead and do so. This is your spotlight.
If you've ever wondered what it's like to adventure in Akade instead of Thule, head over to my channel, Get Real Language, for, as far as I know, the only MYFAROG game on the internet not taking place in Thule. So far.
Yeah, so far, yeah, no, definitely. It's actually, I would say I'm a regular player or semi-regular player, and yeah, I definitely enjoy what Ignacio's put up with, and yeah, hopefully we'll get some more sessions in. Carlos, anything you want to plug or anything you want to say?
I just want to thank you, Ihsan, for being an awesome myth master. This is the second scenario that I've played with you, and I love your adventures, man. I want to keep playing together.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that feedback. Yeah, no, I thought I was boring you guys, but you know, here I am. Thank you very much, guys, for being very awesome players. I love the role play in here, and you know, the combat wasn't too extensive, but obviously in the next session we'll get a bit more streamlined in terms of the combat. But from everyone,
we're not here to roll dice, Ihsan. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And from everyone else here, we'd like to wish you happy gaming. And please don't forget to check out the MYFAROG Gamers group, Ignacio's channel. Like, subscribe, and comment, guys. Take it easy.